Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Coach's Corner. I am Coach Cotton, and the lovely Coach Hadassah is here with us. You guys, I'm super excited that we are here tonight with you all. We have an awesome topic. Coach, whenever you figure out your logistics, join us. Y'all know we be live, right? Like, this is real life. This is not pretend. We don't pre-record. We might start, but we haven't started yet. But this is the Coach's Corner, so I'm so happy to see all of you here joining us tonight. Y'all, we got a great topic. So the topic tonight is about great leadership, or how to identify great leadership. Coach, how are you doing tonight?
I'm here, Coach.
As you hear, I'm like, how you doing tonight? You're like, I'm here, Coach.
Right. I am here. And so listen, we have to like Coach said, this is real life. Right. And sometimes things just happen with the technology and all of that great jazz, but we don't want to harp on that. So guess what we're gonna do? Boom. Hello, everybody. Like hello. So
Hey, Coach.
hey, Coach. Woo, it's been quite a week. That's one thing.
You know,
Yes, ma'am.
the week has been real, and it's Tuesday. I know the week starts on Sunday, but it seems like it shouldn't be like this in depth by Tuesday. Like maybe Wednesday.
Man, look, you said it's Tuesday. I'm like, really? It is.
It's really like only Tuesday. Like it's
right. It's
only
only Tuesday. And I'm like, is it? Are you sure it's not Thursday? Because it seemed like a Thursday.
It's like only Tuesday. Like
Oh, wow. Oh my God. Well, listen, it is what it is. So maybe, right, maybe Thursday stuff just shifted into Tuesday. So then by Thursday, we should really have everything together.
I mean, like, right. Hey Bruce, how you doing? I see Bruce is on YouTube. Um, y'all, we are on a different platform. Well, not really, because y'all really don't be seeing the different platforms, but so some things are being worked out. Oh, coach, it looks better now. I don't know what happened, but it's still a little bit, just a little bit fuzzy. But like your left side from my angle looks good. But y'all, we gonna get together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Screen thing. We're gonna figure
coach,
it out.
this is the thing. We talking about leadership tonight.
Yes. Yes.
Leadership 3 times, because for some reason I'm trying to figure out where all the great leaders at. Like, I know I had some great mentors growing up, and I still do have some great mentors in leadership. In the faith, I have some in my career. I have some other coaches. You, one who I look up to. I have some with my extreme family, like Dynamite, Jacob, all that jazz. But it seems like the topic of identifying, recognizing a leader is becoming so challenging. It's like smoke and mirrors, coach. And so, we was talking about this earlier. I really be in prayer. I'm like, when we do the coach's corner, coach pray. I mean, coach coaches. I'm like the one behind the scenes. I'm like, Lord, what's the topic for today? Like, what you got for your people? What do you have for your audience? Because I really don't know. But then he'll have something get into my eye gate, coach, or he'll have me hear something, or there may be something that I've been challenged with. He's just like, I'm giving you your topic, little butterfly. Here you go. Go talk to coach and see what she thinks. So, coach, I'm always coming to you like, what you think about this? This is what is in my spirit. And then coach is always like, oh my goodness. Yes, we're on one accord.
Right. Right. And I'm telling you, it happens all the time. And I just told coach, I told her, I said, like we'll have our meetings, and I'm like, look, you're a genius at coming up with the topics, because we'll just be in conversation or something like that, and from that conversation coach just grabs a topic, and the description from the conversation. And then we just really look at the entire thing and it's like, you know what? That's it. So I just leave it,
There it is.
you know.
Right.
And here's the thing about it. What's so great about that is that when you're talking about leadership,
Uh-huh.
okay? When you're talking about leadership, that is one of those components about leadership that, you know, uh, with identifying not only a great leader, but just leadership as a whole. A
Right.
leader should be able to identify the gifts and talents and strengths, like strengths
Right.
and weaknesses, because we all have strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
but identify the strengths in each of the, people that are on the team. Because, first of all, what's a leader? And what is a leader without a team of people that they're leading, right? A team of people or a group of people or an organization or whatever. You're not a leader if you don't have the people that you're leading, right?
Right.
So that's
Right.
but then to be able to identify those strengths from the group, the organization, the team, and then put people in position based
Mm-hmm.
on their strengths. Because trust me when I say everybody that is involved on that team or in that group or in that organization, where one person has a strength, the other person is weak in that area, and vice
Right.
versa,
Right.
right? And so when you pull all that together and you work together, you know that's leadership, to be
That's
able to do
leadership.
that, to be able to identify that. So that's one thing. A leader will draw on the strengths of everyone in their organization or team or group,
Absolutely.
and put people in a position in order for them to operate on one accord, but everybody doing their respective things, and boom, you know what I'm saying, they're
I
united
agree.
to where they can all move forward. It's not a one man show. you know,
Period. That's not leadership. It's not a one man show. Say that 10 times, coach.
yes, it's not a one. And look, I me personally, I do not want to be the person that's doing everything.
Period.
I Man, I'm like, look, what you good at? You good at that? Okay, boom, you got that. you and just report back to me on how that's working, or
Right.
all of that kind of stuff. But you got that and you can do it. Boom, you own it, right? And
By
then
all means.
by all means, and then keep encouraging you to continue
Hmm.
to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate that you could do this, that, and the other, and handle this and handle that. Because look, not only not only is it that I either can't do it or
Hmm.
don't want to do it, right?
Right. Right.
I don't want that job, but but then a leader appreciates and let those people know about, man, thank you for for handling that. Thank you for all that you do in that area. We wouldn't be
Right.
able to work effectively without you doing that part. You know what I'm saying? So then you actually value those who are on the team, in the group, in the organization, and then we
Right.
continue to do that. So that's one of the things that I would say I could identify as, a great leader that does that, and then the leadership that you get that from.
Absolutely, coach. I have to 100% agree with everything you just said, because it's just not for a leader to know how to lead or manage a team, but also how to identify those talents and those gifts within the team. Also, how to delegate. Also, how to see and recognize the strengths in your group, in your people. And then everybody plays a big part, and they all have different parts. So, what you just said was so phenomenal. to me, just because it's so it breaks it down to what a leader role is, like what that description looks like. Because you will hear like the term leader, and people automatically think, oh, this is the person in charge, or this is the person who's in control. Not really. Not at all. I'll even say just not at all. A leader does not come to control anything. A leader does come to manage. A leader does come to support. And then you said something so powerful, which I'm like, look at Coach staying in my head. I just watched a short interview that Mel Robbins did. You know, she's a motivational speaker.
Yes.
And she was being interviewed on one of her books, the High Five Habits. I think that was one of her books she got out, and she was being interviewed on that. And she was talking about the leadership role versus the employee role. And she said one of the main things that a leader can do is show appreciation. And when you just use that, it just made me think back on that interview, because I'm like, you have to show appreciation to your team. You have to encourage and motivate your team. You should be an inspiration. That's what a leader does. Just like a coach. A coach comes to encourage and motivates and inspire so that your team can continue to serve in a capacity that makes everybody look good. So we're all one unit, even though there's individuals doing certain parts, we're all one band. And we should all have one sound. We should all have one vision. And when we show that appreciation, when we are out there encouraging as coaches or as leaders, then we can begin to pull out the fruit that the team has, or we can all begin to see the fruit that's supposed to be on the tree. You know what I'm saying, Coach? So you just really ran down that whole description of a leader. And I really like, I really just get into that because a lot of people think to be a leader, like you born with this gift. No, leaders are taught. Leaders are trained. Yes. I always say, and my daddy, he is such a stickler for saying this. He goes, in order to be a great leader, you got to first be a great follower.
Yep.
Like, Coach, if you don't know how to follow someone, how are you going to lead people if you can't even take instruction, if you can't take constructive criticism, if you can't take correction? Mm-hmm. And biblically, that's what Jesus was doing when he was training his disciples. Like, you got to follow to lead, lay down your own agenda and follow what I got going on. Mm-hmm. And then this is how great leaders are bred. This is how they are trained. This is how they are taught. So now when they are in a leadership role, they have the skills and the tools to lead a number of people, multitude of people. Why? Because they followed greatly first. They knew how to take that instruction and direction. They knew how to really understand someone's vision. They knew how to be a part of a team. They knew how to set their own personal things aside to now be a part of a group for the big picture, if that makes sense to everybody.
Yes.
And I just think, every great leader has to follow first. Like, be a great follower. And I'm not talking about, I'm going to just follow, I'm going to do what you say. No. Be a great follower by your contribution, so you can develop yourself into a leadership role and have all the resources and tools and skills that you need to lead people. Because, Coach, what you say all the time, if you're going to copy a cat, you need to copy the right cat. And I say the same thing. If you're going to follow a leader, you better follow the right leader. Because you can follow the wrong leader and have yourself in a mess, Coach.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it out there.
Because, look, now you know where I'm from, right?
We do.
Right.
We do.
I'm from Chicago. Okay.
We do. You know where you're from.
I mean, it's gangs everywhere, but we got them, right? We got the gangs. Everybody knows Chicago is that, you got Chi-Town and all of that, and it's a great city. But then there's that other side that we famous for, Chirac, and we have gang leaders. Leaders, okay? So we leaders, like, they're leading, but they're leading gangs, They're leading
Right.
to do things that would otherwise, have them dead or in jail or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So, just that term leader or leadership is not just something to be, taken lightly or just throw out there or whatever. Oh,
Right.
I'm a leader. Okay, well, what kind of leader are you?
Are you?
Right? You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? You a gang leader, or you know what I'm
Hitler was a leader.
right? You know what I'm saying? You
I
where
mean, we
you
being honest.
right? Where are you leading me to? And so,
Right.
we don't want people. We're not looking to be led, on a path of destruction. And I'm
Right.
not just talking about, well, I mean, it's a coach's corner. We're not talking about being in a gang or anything like that. But
Right.
um, you can have. I mean, look, I spent the last 6 or 7. It was like 6 or 7 years or whatever, just witnessing bad leadership
Mm-hmm. Wow.
in a work environment. You know what I'm saying? In the organization, in a work environment where everybody who was on that team in that work environment was miserable.
Wow.
You know, you had people who, okay, they was around long enough to be like, you know what, I'm out of here, and go and get another position somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or you had people who, for whatever reason, maybe they were fired, and not necessarily because it was them. It was that leadership. you know
Right.
Sometimes it can be that it don't necessarily have to be the person, but it's that leadership. And because that person does not gel well with that, under that bad leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, you got to be very careful, because it's always not, the actual fault of that. Well, put it this way: if you have, the leader, in that leadership role, and I think we talked about this before, but we called it what was it, uh EMPD, right?
Yes. Yes.
Egotistical, misdirected
Yes.
personality disorder, right?
Right.
And so those type of leaders,
Mm-hmm.
okay, um choose out kind of henchmen type people, or people who they can easily, I don't know,
Manipulate.
manipulate or bully or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Absolutely.
And so then when you have someone that are standing on the side of right, and standing on the side of ethics and stuff like that,
Yes.
that person is really not in a good environment for them and that type of leadership,
Right.
right?
I agree.
And then
Mm-hmm.
so that person will be, I mean, it's always will be some type of conflict or whatever, because they're not going to toe the line under bad leadership,
Right.
right? And so that person would
It
have to,
just doesn't mesh well.
yeah, it doesn't mesh well. And if they're not going to be that, so when we talk about leadership, I mean, man, it's like so many layers. But that good leadership, you
Mm-hmm.
know a good leader was definitely one that at one time was a good follower. And
Right.
they followed, like we said, if you're gonna be a copycat, copy the right
The
cat,
right cat.
you know and um oh shoot, girl, I got a meeting in like 2 minutes. And in 2 minutes, like, oh, I had to be on, right? And so and look, that's part of leadership as well. It's a leader in that organization. And so as a
Mm-hmm.
follower, and being the tutelage under great leadership, then what? I
Right.
need to show up and be on time for the meeting. It is what it is. And so but what was I saying? Oh, yeah. With that, um being a good follower, because you're being trained, so
Right.
you're observing good leadership,
Right.
so that when you're in position, they could be, look, you can be being groomed for a leadership position and not even know it,
Right. That's true. That's true.
right? You may be a candidate, but they didn't tell you that you're a candidate,
Mm-hmm.
because it's better to see if you're that person without you knowing that you're that person. So you would just do things or whatever naturally, just because that's who you are, that's how you are. And
Mm-hmm.
you'll take guidance, you'll take correction, you'll take all of those things, and then next thing you know, boom, you're in a leadership role because you've proven yourself to be a great leader without knowing. Because here's the thing about this: how you do one thing is how you do everything,
Right.
right?
Right.
So if you're a good leader, and me personally, I really do believe that there are some people who are really born, they're born for leadership. But just like you have a natural talent for something, you may have
Right.
a natural talent for music, you may have a natural ear, to hear music, you may naturally have a singing voice. But every great singer, they had to have training,
Right.
right? You just Because look, I remember being in I had a vocal coach, and she asked me one time, um um she said something along the lines of like, who do you think is better, like a natural singer or a skilled singer?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it, and I'm like, I think the skilled singer. And then she asked me, why did I choose that? And I said, well, I think you could have natural abilities, but I think you would be even better if you had
You
that
had some
natural talent,
training.
and trained and honed, and you could be great. And she was like, awesome. You are the first person that answered that way. Many people say natural singer. But here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing about it: you could be a natural singer, but if you haven't been trained to breathe a certain way,
Right.
have your posture a certain way,
Right.
um, knowing what type of foods to eat and not eat in order to make sure that your voice is clear. You don't want to eat a lot of dairy and
Right.
things like that, or at a certain time. Or, if you have a performance and you may be performing for 2 hours, well, do you have the stamina in order to
Right.
perform for 2 hours and have your voice under that? Knowing that before you perform and everything, you may not want to talk at all.
Right.
You got a performance coming up. You are, it's like vocal training. It's like you are a vocal athlete, and you have to be trained in that way. So
Right.
the same thing when it comes to leadership. You may have the natural abilities of being a leader, but
Mm-hmm.
without that training, without that coaching, without that, mentorship of
Right.
great leader, then you just out there all willy-nilly.
Like 100%. You are like you have nothing to help you fine tune the natural ability that you have. You have no one coming in to critique you, to help you grow and be developed in the leadership role that you may potentially take on just because you have natural ability. I so agree with that, coach. One thing that I be thinking about, and like I said, we're just gonna give you guys a few tips to identify or a great leader. Like you may be in search of a organization, whether it's in your career field, whether it's an opportunity, whether it's church or whatever, like you a pastor, whatever you're searching for, you're pursuing, and you want to be able to identify a great leader. You may even want to know if you are considered a great leader. And so, again, one of the main things is great leaders are also great followers. That's how they start. They know how to take instruction, they know how to take direction, they know how to take criticisms and correction. Another thing, coach, that I found um, in great leaders is integrity. Like your character has to be demonstrated. And what I mean by that is a difference when people say you got to prove yourself but your character does not have to show proof. Your character shows demonstration of the type of person and the type of leader you are. Integrity plays a huge part in your character. To be trustworthy, to be pure, to have some type of code of conduct, ethics, morals, all these things, some wisdom that comes into play. Coach, would you agree with that?
Yes.
About having integrity or having a character of integrity as a leader?
Yes. I mean that right there is like number one.
Yes,
Right? That's number one. Your character. I mean, you
absolutely.
you you have to. You got to lead by example.
Absolutely.
You have to lead by example. And so, every great leader that I know of, their leadership. Okay, I was just making sure I was on mute. But their leadership really started, look, within themselves behind
Hmm.
closed doors. Okay.
Absolutely.
It really,
Absolutely.
it's not what you really, I mean, it is what you're doing up front, but then for the most part, what are you doing behind the scenes?
Right.
And that right there, that
Right.
determines it. That goes back to again about how you do one thing is how you do everything, you know.
Absolutely.
And so having that, that character, like you were saying, the integrity, um, look, faithfulness, being trustworthy,
Yes.
all of
Yes.
those things, I mean, those are key ingredients to great leadership,
Absolutely.
and like it was said before, being able to humble ourselves, right, with that humility to be corrected when we do make mistakes, because we do.
Right.
I mean, we're ever evolving, we're ever learning. Your leadership, it always, drives forward into a different level. And if we're not able to do that, which is part of that character development, where as a leader, we can, we could take that. We could be like, okay, well, something may have happened with our team and organization and that, and as leaders, we have to be the ones that it's like, hey, I'm responsible, right? I'm accountable. I'm taking this for
Right.
team, you know, and then as a team, we do what we need to do in order to move forward and go from there. So that right there, the character.
Right. The character is so great. Look, I was looking at it. I was looking, I was in my Bible app, but I'm like, there's a scripture, and I was trying to find about leadership, but Jesus kind of told the story, or he kind of not kind of he demonstrated in this story that he shared with his disciples about being great. And this related to leadership. But while I was searching, I was like, let me hit the next point. And the next point, like you said, Coach, you brought it up already, is being a great example. And leaders have to know how to serve. Like, it's unavoidable. Like, as a leader, you have to be willing to do the job that nobody else wants to do. And then you use a key word, Coach. You said the humble ourselves. That humility must show itself present in the character part. And I just feel like when you're identifying a leader, if that leader is not willing to serve, if that leader is not willing to go out with you, go out, before you, and do the hard job that some may say. And I'll use this as an example. If the leader can't clean the toilet, we got a problem, because for the vision to work, somebody got to clean the toilet. We just can't leave it nasty. And so, as a humble position as a leader, cleaning toilets is not above you. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not beneath you. And so when you see leaders stepping into roles that some may look at like, why are you doing that? It's because it's a service, it's a servitude, it's taking appreciation into what you do for the big picture. Here again, we're talking about the big focus. We're not talking about just one facet of, we're talking about all parts. And so if it takes for me to operate my organization as a leader and to show, my supporters or my employees that I can lead, I can go clean the toilet. It's not beneath me to do that. I can go serve the food. It's okay. Jesus was washing his disciples' feet, and they was like, "What are you doing?" Peter was offended. Peter was 100% offended that Jesus said, "Let me wash your feet," and he's going, "But master, teacher, you don't have to wash my feet. I need to be washing your feet." But as a leader, he could serve his disciples in such a way to demonstrate a good shepherd, to demonstrate a great leader, that this is not beneath me to serve you. It's not beneath me to go out there and serve the poor. It's not beneath me to be with the sinner if I can win a soul. Do y'all follow me what I'm saying? I hope it's not too deep for you guys, but servitude is so important. Having that integrity and humility and being humble is so important, and being able to manage. Also, coach, a great leader is relatable, like period. And I look at you, and I use you as an example a lot, coach. And forgive me if forgive me if I keep using you. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Coach has to step away. I'm gonna proceed with the coach's corner. We know that you, as a leader, you got things to do. Go ahead. Now, the only thing I don't know what to do is on this new platform. When I'm done, will you be able to close it out? Like, shut it down? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, we'll figure it out. I'm gonna keep going. You do what you gotta do. You can hear me, y'all. I think Coach can hear me. Coach, nod if you can hear me. Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna move on. So, leaders are very relatable. They're If you're in a leadership role, and the people who have chosen, who have taken the time to follow you because they see skills, they see parts of your character, that they are willing to join you on whatever vision that you have, there is something about you that they can relate to. Maybe your story is similar to their story. You don't make them feel ashamed. You're not coming as a leader to judge them. You're not coming as a leader to cast stones or lots against nobody. You're not coming as a leader to shame, embarrass, or humiliate anyone. Leaders are very relatable. They can understand from the smallest person to the greatest person. And as a leader, those are qualities that you want people to see in you. That's a character, yet again, that you want to demonstrate for those who choose to follow you, for those to join your team or your organization, or to say, hey, I believe in the mission or the vision that this person has. So what I'm going to do is join them, because I see their good character. I see their integrity. I see their humility. I see how they can relate to me. I understand, and they understand me. And as a leader, these are some identifiable indicators that you want to look for when you're in search of a leader, when you're in search of someone who can not only teach you, but can also help you grow. You're looking for a person who also understands where you've been, but more importantly, they know where you're going. Like Coach started off saying, that a leader also identifies the qualities and the strengths in the team. A leader should be able to call out the strength and recognize the team where the power is in the individual, and then use that for the whole team to be successful and thrive and flourish. And it's not of you taking the spotlight off of me because I'm the leader. No, we're all working together for a common vision. The big picture is we all have one sound, one mind, one vision. Y'all following me? Um, Ebony says, bye, Coach. See you next Tuesday. I love me some Ebony. She's so down for the cause. And I was looking for it. I think I found it. I'm not sure, y'all. I'm looking for this. I just read all of Coach's message. Coach, your message had kind of came across, and I didn't read the full thing. But I was looking for this scripture that talks about, again, Jesus was talking to his disciples about being being great or being first, and the steps that it takes to be great or first. And I promise you, if you have not read this scripture before, it can come as quite a surprise, because you would not think that you would have to become a slave, or you would have to be the last one picked on a team if you want to be great or first. And I think it goes like this. Is this in Matthew? Let me see. Yes, it's in Matthew. No, I'm sorry, it's in Mark 9. Let me go to my app, because this was just on Google. Y'all know Google is your best friend when you trying to find something. And y'all can go to it with me, those believers out there. And this is not like I'm trying to force anything on you guys, but I just want you guys to really see the demonstration of some of the characteristics, some of the indicators of a great leader, right? And so, the best teacher in our book is Jesus, is God, is our Heavenly Father, because He already laid out the blueprint of the qualities, characteristics of a leader. And so, if we go to Mark, I just want to read this real quick for y'all. I believe it's Mark. I thought it was Matthew, but this is Mark. Let me just read down real quick. Da da da. Okay, so yes, it says, sitting down to teach, He called the 12 disciples and said to them, if anyone wants to be first, he must be last of all in importance and a servant of all. So that means if you want to be first, you got to be last. And if you want to be great, you got to be a slave to other people. Meaning, here again, it's going back to that point of a great leader is a great follower. You can't be on your high horse as a leader. You can't put yourself on a pedestal. You cannot uplift and glorify yourself, because that's not what leaders do. As you can see with some tyrants, like I said, be careful with the word leader or leadership, because it can also be very similar, and I say similar because it's not the same, to a dictator. It can be very confused with a tyrant. Again, Hitler in his mind was a leader, but we saw more of his tyranny. We saw more of him being a dictator. He used force. He used control. He used coercion and persuasion and things like that to get people to follow him. He used genocide, and he was killing people and threatening people. Leaders don't do that. Why? Leaders don't have to do that. They don't have to use force, but their character will speak for them. Their character will show up. Their integrity, humility, being able to serve, being able to manage will be the thing that allows people joining their organization, joining their team, following them. The leader is present in the organization. The opportunity that we're in with the Extreme FX Global Academy, and we have some great leaders in this organization. And leaders, like some of the leaders, I give it up to Adrian Dynamite Sloan all the time. Now, all of our founders are great leaders. However, there are some qualities that I see in Adrian that just resonates with me as a leader. A leader is present. A leader is accessible. A leader is not hiding away from the people who are dependent upon them to support. A leader gives appreciation. A leader encourages. And in the leaders that I have seen, this is their character. This is what they do. You're not out there in the trenches by yourself. Jacob Mickle, he's in the field. He's probably in the field more than some of the members. Why? Because great leaders, this is what they do. They know how to serve, they know how to manage, and they know how to possess the qualities and skills and characteristics of great leadership, great mentorship. They're here to support. They're out there with you. And so, again, they understand the concept, like the scripture was saying, that to be first, you got to be last. Nobody starts off at the top. Nobody is born a leader. Now, yes, you may have some natural ability. You may be one that knows how to organize very well. You may be one who's very detail oriented. These are leadership qualities. These are leadership capabilities. But until you get some training from a leader, from a mentor, from a coach who knows how to do this, who's been through this, who has the experience, the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding to get you to your next level, this is when you begin to fine tune your natural ability. This is when you're able to not identify and recognize the indicators that other great leaders have. If you see these qualities in you, good job. Well done. Stay on that path. You want to be a great leader, right? But you have to be one that's called to serve. You can't avoid serving. You can't avoid support. You can't avoid questions. You can't avoid meetings. Most leaders, like CEOs of these great companies and founders and organizers and creators, they're in meetings all day, every day. All day, every day. Look, my daddy, he retired 38 years in the Army, Sergeant Major. And my daddy said for his last 5 years, all he did was sit in meetings. That was his job, really, sitting in meetings, because leaders meet. They come together, as Coach is doing right now. She's on the leadership team. They're coming together, meeting, they're strategizing to see the benefit of the team, to see what we can pull out the organization, to see what we already have in the house. And Coach, I think I'm preaching, because this topic of leadership is so good, and we can go so far and get so in depth with this topic. But I really just want everyone to start understanding leadership and how to identify a great leader. Again, if you desire to be a leader and to be a great leader, there's some simple things that you can start working on. Work on your character, do your inner work on your integrity, work on your relatability, work on your skills management, work on your servitude, work on being dutiful, work on your meetings, being organized, detail oriented, strategizing, planning, so things can become automated, right? This is the mind of a leader. And when I tell you guys, and I'm about to end this, it's not easy being a leader. You may see T.D. Jakes and Joel Osteen and all these great, pastors, or either you can see Russell Branson and Steve Jobs, God bless his soul, run these organizations, running a company like Apple, starting this. Y'all know that's work. Do you know how many people they are accountable for? And do you know how many people they are accountable to? Reliability has to be one of the qualities of a great leader. Dependability. You can't be showing up late. You can't be late to the party. We know that in trading, in our trading community. If you up at 10 o'clock, we're done. It's a wrap. If you just not getting up talking about you finna go trade, sweetie, you don't about miss the money. Your bag has been taken by somebody else because you just showing up to the party. You need to be up early. When they say that whole cliche, the early bird gets the worm, the early bird catches the bag. And if you want the bag early, even the Bible speaks of early will I seek him. David, he got up early. And I'm not saying you got to be the one that's all up at 5 o'clock in the morning. However, as a leader, the role may call for you to be up early. The job or the role may call for you to be 2-3 steps ahead of everybody, because you're always planning. You're always strategizing. You're looking at the whole team, the entire vision. You're looking at the big picture. What is the main focus? And then you prioritize that. And I'm going to stop right there because I can run this thing down for another 15 minutes, but I ain't going to do it to y'all because I believe that's already a lot. And Emily said, you're going to miss all the pips. You will. You will be so disappointed because your bag that you could have had at 9 is gone by the time you waking up at 10. I'm up at 4:30 every morning. And, you got to prepare your mind. Great leaders have a routine. They have healthy habits and healthy practices. And I said I was going to end, but when I saw Ebony's comment, it just made me think of another quality characteristic or identifier of a great leader. They have healthy practices. You may even call them rituals. They get up early. They may meditate. They may have some devotion and prayer time. They're not picking up their phone right away. They're not jumping on Facebook and social media. No, they are taking the necessary time to feed their spirit, to feed their soul, to connect with their creator, to connect with the Heavenly Father. So now that he can download all the strategies that the leader needs to go through with the plan. And ultimately, it's never the leader's plan, but it's always the Heavenly Father's plan. So I'm for real, for real. I'm ending now. Y'all, this has been the Coach's Corner. We see our leader, our great coach Hadassah, y'all, my sister, my coach, my mentor, one of my leaders who I thoroughly look up to, who has taught me a lot. Again, she is in her leadership role as we speak. But I appreciate all of you joining us on the Coach's Corner every Tuesday night at 4:30. Look, I got to get it right. 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, 6:30 Central Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. This is the Coach's Corner with Coach Hadassah. I'm Coach Cotton, and we're here to help you get to your next level. Look, I always want to encourage you guys to reach out. Maybe it's not us, maybe there's someone else, but pray about it. Ask God who to send you to. But if you need any support, if you need a coach in your life, if you want to develop great leadership skills, we are two qualified, certified coaches who can help you get to your next level in that. If there's anything else that you are challenged with and you say, hey, I need some support, I need some guidance, I need some help, the coaches are here. And if we can't do it, we would definitely direct you to the right person or someone who can get you some support. This again has been the Coach's Corner. See us back every Tuesday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Y'all go out and be great. Coach, you can close us out. I don't know if she can hear me. You can close us out. We done. I can't read your lips, but you can take us off live. I don't know. Bye. She said, bye, everybody. Look, I'm reading lips.